guys, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is gonna be a chat style video in which I'm gonna be talking about diversity and diversity in books and general diverse reading. To start off, I'm gonna tell you guys that I use two sort of things to keep track of my reading. One of them is Goodreads. I mark the books in there as read, currently reading, and to be read. Everybody knows how Goodreads works, but what I also do for myself is I'm using a compile file, which is basically a Google Drive spreadsheet in which I input all my books from my monthly TBRs, and it basically helps me keep track of all my stats. It calculates automatically all the stats as well, so once you input all the details about a specific book that you're reading, it calculates for you the percentage and all the stats for like age category, genre, year published, gender of the author, if the author was a person of color. As we are getting near to the half-year point, I was going through the stats and I noticed something that really made me think, and I was really shocked about that specific stat. So what I'm going to talk about in this video today is my diversity when it comes to authors I pick up. So I've been going through my stats so far this year, and it really shook me that only about 9% of the books that I've picked up were written by a person of color. 9% out of 36 books that I've input there is only 3 books. They were Beloved, My Sister, Serial Killer, and also A Little Life. So only 3 out of 36 books. And it made me think. So I normally try to read a lot of books from different genres and different age categories, different things. First of all, so I don't get bored, and second of all, because I want to see how people from different backgrounds, how different books portray the same social problem or an aspect of life. So I really find this interesting. This year I clearly have been guilty of neglecting picking up diverse authors, so I really would like to change that. And today I'm just going to chat with you through some of the books written by people of color that I want to pick up soon and that I just basically in general on my TBR list. The first book on my TBR list written by a person of color is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernardine Evaristo. This is an adult fiction novel set in the UK. It was published in 2019, I believe. Most of the books actually on my list were published last year. So this book is set in the UK and we follow the lives of 12 different women and their experiences. From what I heard, this book is a modern take on womanhood and race in Britain. Sounds really interesting, definitely on my radar. Next on my list is Color Me In by Natasha Diaz. This is a YA debut novel that came out in 2019. I know that this is a coming of age story and we follow a girl who's a person of color, and in general this book deals with issues such as coming of age, first romance, religion, race, and how all of these can divide or unite a family. Next on my list is The Poet X by Elisabeth. The Poet X was her debut novel back in 2018. It's essentially a new way of telling a story, because this book is about a girl. It's again YA story, so it's coming of age story. But what's special about this book, it's written in a verse form, in a form of slam poetry. Elisabeth, she's first and foremost a slam poet, so it sounds super interesting. I really want to experience this new form of storytelling and I'm really excited to read The Poet X. Next up on my list is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I don't think I have to say a lot about this book because so many people have known it already, but essentially this is a memoir written by Michelle Obama. We just get to know Michelle Obama's life, and it's something that really interests me something that I really want to get into and learn more about. This one is definitely high on my priority list and definitely something that I want to pick up soon, especially that I already own a copy. So yeah, very excited to read this one as well. The next book that I own as an ebook is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. I've really heard so many good things about this book. Essentially, the story takes place in the 1960s and we follow a black high school student who, after making an innocent mistake, is sentenced to a juvenile reformatory. So he's sentenced to go to the Nickel Academy that provides physical, mental and moral training. In reality, the Nickel Academy turns out to be more of a hellish nightmare, and we follow Elwood trying to navigate his life through that nightmare. Sounds super interesting. It's a historical fiction book. I love historical fiction, so I'm really interested to pick it up soon. Also, this book is based on a real story about a school in Florida, which makes it so much more interesting, but also so much more heartbreaking. The next thing on my list is 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. This is already a classic. It's been adapted to a movie. I haven't read it yet, but I really want to. It's up on my shelves, and this especially is so heartbreaking and so powerful because it's based on the author's real story. We follow Solomon's story, who back in 1841 was kidnapped to be a workforce on a cotton plantation, and we follow his story as he tries to escape the plantation. And this is something that I really want to learn more about. I know I've read a couple of books dealing with people's lives on plantations during the slavery times, but it's still something that I need to learn more about. So definitely I want to continue learning about it and continue educating myself in this subject and in that period. And then finally, another book that is kind of considered a modern classic. Not a classic yet, but definitely something that is very important and also so many people have talked about and so many people have read it, and it is The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This book was published in 1982 and it talks about Celie's life. This book is set in between the wars, and we follow Celie, who is a black girl born into poverty, and her life is just a chain of horrible events that are happening to her. And the story starts as she meets Shug Avery, who is an emancipated woman who's taken her life into her own hands and is making her own destiny. We follow Celie as she is trying to change her life and is trying to free herself from the past that's holding her back. I can't tell you how many times this book has been recommended to me, even on all the lists like top 50 books to read in your lifetime. This book will be there and I really want to get to it. Okay guys, so these are some of the books that I really want to add to my future TBR list to diversify my reading, and I know that I'll be adding some of these books to my next month's TBR list because I really want to change the pattern that I've developed this year. Let me know in the comments if you read any of those books, and if so, which one I should start with, because I'm really excited about all of them. But yeah, just I need your recommendation to what to start with. But also let me know what are some other books that are not on this list that you think that I would like, that I should add to my TBR. At the end of this year, I probably will do a confrontation video in which I'm gonna check how me challenging myself to read more diverse authors it's worked out for me in the next 6 months, and then we can see what did and what it didn't work for me. I'll definitely do that at the end of 2020, so we can just compare which books I've actually managed to read and which I haven't. But enough rambling about this. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again with another video soon. Bye.